There were 24 buildings, and for every building that came after the CK Choi, I did workshops, and I brought Bob up for a couple. And when I didn't have Bob to hand, I was encouraged by my boss to try and figure out what had made the CK Choi Building so successful. And one of the things I said to him was the targets that we had set at the initial workshop with Bob. But somehow the teams never quite came together in the same way as the CK Choi Building.
When Bob introduced himself, remember he introduced himself as a Kansas architect, you know, and he got the phone call 3 o'clock in the morning saying we're digging bodies out of one of your buildings, Mr. Berkebaugh. And he started really to tear up. And that was a very powerful moment to essentially take away from his professional position, but who was Bob? He went around the table and essentially asked everybody almost to leave their professional position behind and talk from who they believed they were, what they really felt in a heartfelt way. And I thought that was incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Choi Building was my ultimate project that I ever worked on. I mean, I can't say enough about what I learned on the project and the process. I think for me, the process was incredible. It started off with the charrettes with Bob and the whole team together talking about some of those goals that we were reaching for.
This was a unique team and a unique project, and it's critical that we all recognize that, and in reflecting back, accept your significant collaborative contribution to making this happen. I would say that I observed all of you make a commitment to one another.
Because that comes back to being in relation to one another in an authentic way, and that mindset, that starting mindset. And once you get those right, it doesn't, I don't know, this has been my experience over the years, is that when you get that right, then you get a different way of coming to the project, coming to the team, and it doesn't matter how big the challenges are. You've got that, that foundation that brings you together.
And what that meant was, because we enjoyed our meetings, but it also meant that when we had another challenge or you had to look at something differently, we actually said, yeah, I can go back and look at that. We really took the challenge on because we were really part of that team. And I always liked Eva's analogy of the Canadian geese flying, and that there was always one person at the head, honking away, pulling the team forward, and then they would get tired and they would move back and somebody else would take charge and pull the team forward again. And it was always that rotation of leadership and of ideas that really made the project work.
And the seminal point here is that it's the voices of many and in the contributions of many that the Choi kind of really brought the best out of everyone's thinking.
That is exactly what for me was really different about this project, is that somebody actually allowed us all to have a voice and a contribution to it, and really made an incredible impact on my life working on this building. And when I was working at that time at RJC, I worked a lot to kind of integrate some guidelines and policies and thought processes into our work to take forward to other projects, even if they weren't labeled green.
What I love about this project and the process is that lots of people, lots of the team members take credit for, it's like the timber. Who said, let's use the timber from the armories? I bet you anything there would be a whole bunch of people. And then the composting toilets, it was the one that drew attention. Right? That's how people heard about CK Choi Building, was they use composting toilets. But this is not a criticism. I think that's a compliment, or that we only use the land on that parking lot. That's what made me think of it. You know, the architects, we think we did it. The mechanical folks think they saw it, and it's great. It's and it's a sign of how things went, that we all were part of those decisions.
And it's looking at the problem through the eyes of children is what we have to do. Because as we get smarter in our careers, we become less innovative, not more innovative, unless we just stop trying to do an incremental shift from the last project.
To me, there was a level of joy in doing this work, which is hard to communicate. This was fun and exciting.
Sorry, I think I said that wrong. La, 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 la.